Sinful Humans. Lisa Said is a 17-part series compiled in time for her 30 years death anniversary this year. Look for that under playlists called Lisa Said. Do not subscribe to me. Subscribe to a subscription. Let's take a look at Clearwater, Florida for a protest against Scientology.
Some of my adventures in Florida, Gulf of Mexico, 2025, end of September. And this is, I should have made notes on the previous year, which was beginning of September, on the east coast of Florida. So anyway, 2025, Florida. There are no waves in the water. The water is green. It looks like Michigan, but it's a lot warmer. Like the water is warm, and the sand is sugar. It's like powdered sugar. It's like confectioner's sugar. A little bit rougher than confectioner's, with shells, cute little shells. All these floaty little seaweeds in the water are like those Florida plants that are rubbery plants, which are the only plants I saw between the Pye Airport and Clearwater Beach. That's where I went, and no flowers in Florida. Okay, first night adventure. I check into my Airbnb at a normal time. Normal hostess. She actually has the room next door to me, and she lives there full time, and that's fine. I'm just renting the room for a couple days or nights, and then 2 o'clock in the morning, I think it was 2:30, banging on the door of the home. It's a duplex home. Banging on the door. I don't know who's banging on the door. It's 2 o'clock. It's 2:30 in the morning. What is happening? And I'm wide awake, and I'm waiting in bed thinking maybe hostess will answer the door or not. I don't know. Nothing changes. It's just like periodic knocking on the door. And then something changes. Let's add knocking on the windows. I have a window. I kind of make sure my blinds are very closed. My lights are very off. I'm not breathing. Like, what is happening between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning? And that is seriously how long it lasted. I just wanted to get some rest. Had a long, no sleep the night before, which often I do when I'm traveling, and I pack crazy. I'm going through my crazy packing and stuff. Okay, so not real restful at 2:30 in the morning, and I'm a little bit nervous, and I send a message through the Airbnb communication system, Christine, okay, and I say, hey, someone's knocking on the door, and this message goes to the hostess who is in the room next door, but it also goes to someone else, like, who owns the property, I suppose, because there are like 2 women that co-host on the property listing, and so the message goes to both of them, and then the woman, the property owner woman, she's like trying to reach the host woman, and she's not responding because she's like sleeping. I'm like, glad she's sleeping. Good. I couldn't sleep, but she was sleeping. That's good. Let her sleep. So anyway, I didn't have any say in the matter. I was just saying, like, hey, do you know why there's someone knocking on the door is all. And then it was still going on and on for that whole half hour. There's a lot of time for me to be freaking out. But I got past a little bit of my freak out, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to, like, peek out and see if, like, is there blood out there or something? So I go out into the living area, just kind of tiptoeing, hoping I'm not casting a shadow somehow and such. And they're still banging on the windows and the door. They're not saying anything. And, because this is going to be an important element later in the story, I've seen cops banging on doors at night. And what happens when cops bang on doors at night is that they have their lights on, and they're showing everybody that they're cops banging on doors. So their cars have lights on. Now, I didn't dare open the blinds to peek outside to see any cars outside. I didn't dare touch the blinds. I remember I was just trying to not even cast a shadow, and I was trying not to breathe. Who is trying to get in here? As I'm thinking. On my first night in Clearwater, Florida vicinity. At an Airbnb. I love Airbnb. I still say, do it. I love Airbnb. It's an adventure. Have your adventure. And so, the next day, to follow up on the knock on the door and my Airbnb message, this kind host, I mean, she's kind, I just adore her. She explains to me that she got the message late because she was sleeping. Yeah, I thought, right, I knew she was sleeping, right? And no problem. And then she says, well, you know, a call is in to the police to find out what that was about. And she said, we haven't heard back yet. Okay, now, that rung a little rusty in my heart, because I've lived in a couple different places here and there, and I've always worked for the government in some capacity, and I've had a lot of encounters with law enforcement officials, and especially how municipal police and, you know, like in neighborhood situations. In fact, I've been involved in neighborhood situations myself. I understand functionality of police. I understand their limitations and laws, not like thoroughly, but I have a good surface level understanding. And well, I'm not gonna. Okay, so in my mind, I'm quite puzzled. How so that what's being reported from the operator at the police station to my hostess, who is explaining now to me, the police have to wait for the deputy who was on duty when that knock was made, because apparently the police were knocking on the door at 2:30 in the morning. And only this deputy can respond to an inquiry as to the matter of that knocking. And therefore, no one would be available to give any information whatsoever to any person, not even the property owner, because she too was trying to get through to the police, as communicated to me through this hostess. That struck me as bizarre, because there are records. Police have records of everything at all times, and they're not like secret to one person record. Like deputy so and so is the same as deputy such and such, dude. Really, it does not ring clear to me. It's a little rusty. Okay, so it took 2 days to get further information from apparently the deputy himself. Returned. I mean, like, such small small town charm, right? Returned the call to the hostess, whose room was next to me, who was handling all the communication with me, right? In fact, I think she was handling everything, because property owner, didn't hear from her at all. I didn't hear much either from the relay from her. Anyway, hostess relays to me from the police officer, or excuse me, the certain deputy, apparently, because you can't. Okay. They were knocking on the door at 2:30 in the morning because they were searching for Juan Cortez, who was who claimed former residency at that location. What the hell are you talking about? Police looking for someone at a former residence? Okay, they know that the current resident is not the current resident. They know it's former resident. And so maybe not 2:30 in the morning, okay? 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon, sounds about right. For a former resident, hey, and you know anything about Juan Cortez? No. Made absolutely no sense to me. But that's me. You know, I have my own personal experience, and then this is only the beginning of my adventure in Clearwater, Florida, 2025.
Get out of here. Okay, on the bus, you get out of here. Get out of here. You get out of here. Get out of here. I use my fish.
Why? Why not? Why not? Why have I not given you my good examples? Because you're not ready. Okay? You can't even convince your own people that anti-Scientology is the way to be. Okay? You can't even convince your own auntie that, hey, Scientology is actually very bad. It's evil. You can't convince her. She's like, oh, well, I don't know. Everyone believes what they believe. And so, if you can't even convince your auntie, how the hell are you going to be convincing a Scientologist? Think about it, dumbass. So that's the reason you do not need to be approaching a Scientologist with your anti-Scientology message. No, you don't. You need to start with your own circles, honey. Get your circles circled up with your anti-Scientology. And once that's solid, you can think about approaching the Scientologist. See how that works? And you need solid, because everyone has free will. So you can expect some flippy-doos. You can maybe even suspect yourself being a flippy-doo if you're not solid. So you better be solid in your convictions. You better be solid in knowing what you're going to say, what you're going to do, how you look, how you say it, your tone. Oh, don't get me started on linguistics, okay? Be solid. Because who are you? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, so those magic words, you want them? Contact me. If you want to be leaving a comment, that's off. It's a no. Because I don't do this for you. I didn't do this for you. I'm not going to be doing this for you. Okay? Clearwater, Florida. I did that for Lisa. Not for you. Okay? I did that for you, Lisa. It's true. That was for you, Lisa. I hope you liked it. It turned out a little better than I thought it would, actually. I mean, even though I made a lot of mistakes. I made so many mistakes because you got to have, when you do performance art, you got to have that audience engagement. And this audience was engaging on a weird level, like instantly. And usually that happens. And that's it. That's what I expect. But I've never seen anyone call 911 on performance art. That was wild. That was wild, Jen. That was wild. It is totally normal to be shocked at first. And then it doesn't take too long to catch on to the person's body language, overexpressive vocalizations. This seems like performance, so then maybe this is performance. But I don't know. I guess I'm flattered that I was very convincing. Anyway, I didn't do it for you. I did it for Lisa. Lisa, I was convincing. I did it just like it did it to you. Just like it did it to you. It just didn't talk to me all night long. And I didn't know, just like your words. Let's hear your words, Lisa. So here's the thing. I was going to be wearing even less than what I was wearing. And they were like, she's in her underwear. How is that underwear, man? I don't know kind of what you got happening in your life under there. I don't want to know, okay? Because I'm not out there in my underwear. How does that even look like underwear to you? Okay, so I was going to be wearing even less because it's hot in Florida. It's really hot because it's wet hot. And I'm ready for the bikini life, baby. I am made for life in a bikini, roller skating, talking about Jesus. And not in that order. Okay, let's reverse the order. Let's talk about Jesus first. Whew, but that sounds like yelling. Don't be like yelling. So, you want to be more conversational because you want to be able to have a conversation with one of these people one day. Because they're not allowed to have conversation. Their brains are so busy, they're on hyperactive overload at all times. How do you have a conversation like that? You know, you don't. Not human conversation. Robotic conversation maybe, but not human conversation. So, that's why you need to say something short that might break a brain. And I haven't even given you my good examples yet. Or, no, get on the same level as a Scientologist, have great hair, and be slim, and look pretty. They're pretty. They're all pretty. They're not all slim, but they're pretty. And they wear hideous uniforms. Don't wear the uniform. That's making fun of them. Okay. Show them the same kind of respect that you do a stranger in a city where you are a stranger in a city. Hot damn. Don't treat them like animals in a cage. Here's the thing. Scientologists are having a delicious meal. And you need to offer them a more delicious meal. Not you need to offer them nothing. Okay, wait, let's understand that, okay? You can offer a Scientologist either nothing or an even more delicious meal. You see, a Scientologist believes Scientology is delicious. Hey, what you got more delicious than Scientology? If you've got nothing, then you shall make no impact. So, if there's something you believe, and this belief you understand is something better than what a Scientologist believes, then you have a chance at making an impact on a Scientologist with your anti-Scientology message. But it better be more delicious than what they're already having. You understand? Because otherwise, you've got nothing. Okay, so Mommy, I'm coming in from the bus, which is back here, and I'm walking up here. And then I turn, because it's like full of people, where you see the buildings, like in the sidewalk, where it says cult, but it didn't say cult yet, like none of that stuff is there. And then I'm putting on a show for whoever is here. It happens like right there where the red and white bricks are. Sorry about that trash. Okay, and then I do the whole show, which was fabulous. I gotta say, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. And then so the protest group people were like not having it. And they're calling the like medical, the cops. I mean, they put out their show too. It was hilarious to like, I don't know, I need to find out where to find who recorded it. So, okay. So, Mommy, those are all honking for the yay. Okay. So I'm dead, and you can read my dead legs, and you can read my dead signs. Like, I'm sure you can read the dead signs I made. So it's like, you know, how do you not understand this is theater? And so then everyone here, like, I don't know if you can see how many people here, but everyone here is like super freaked out. They will not stop freaking out. It's hilarious. But at the same time, it's like, I did this much blindfolded. That's pretty good. And then I did this side didn't work out, as you can tell, and I have tangent. No, this side did not turn out like at all. It just looks like crazy writing, which didn't do very crazy writing. So, and then the legs. Let's see if we can see like how that looks. I think not in the other movie. late. That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said. So, after the show, I go over, like, there. Okay, so I go over there, I find my bag, and I'm sitting down to clean up. Like, where the car is parked and it's going now. Okay, so I'm, like, near the sidewalk, trying to be out of the way, because that's where else out of the way is. And all these cops show up, and they're over here at this corner, and they're all crowded, and they're all talking about. And then the cops come over, they're talking to me over there, and I'm like, hey, I got First Amendment rights, etc. And they're like, well, these people don't know you. Like, okay, beach cop, take a walk. And so I go over here, and I'm like, okay, everybody don't know me. My name is, because beach cop wants me to introduce myself to you. And therefore, my name is. And I go around introducing myself one by one. And then I get these cool motherfuckers. Oh my God. They're like, this is the ultimate, Jeff. You need to join Scientology, Jeff. Oh, I just should be recording my face right now. Should have double. Wait, am I even recording? I don't know. This one's for you self-righteous. This one is for you self-righteous, sinful humans. You have to be convinced of what you believe. That's why beliefs are convictions. We can do the etymology at another time. You have to convince someone to believe you. You have to convince yourself to believe something. Have you ever tried to convince yourself of what you believe? Or do you just believe because you inherited from your family, from your friends, from your instructors, your employers? Did you inherit what you believe? Or did you convince yourself of what you believe? And how did you convince yourself? Or if you were not the one convincing yourself, did someone else convince you and that was enough? Is it enough for you to convince someone else? Is it enough for you to convince a Scientologist of your anti-Scientology? Or does a Scientologist have to convince himself? A Scientologist has to convince herself. Maybe you can help with that. But first you have to ask yourself these questions. You don't start by asking a Scientologist these questions. Ask yourself first. When you believe something, it's because you are convinced. When you are convinced, you believe. And then when you believe because you are convinced, that means you feel you have evidence to defend your conviction. I mean, you have to have evidence for yourself, but you definitely have evidence for others. So what's your evidence of your belief that anti-Scientology is what this Scientologist needs? Or what's the evidence of your belief in Christianity? What's the evidence of your belief in Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc.? Do you understand? Watch out, cars. Do you understand the evidence behind a Scientologist's beliefs? And how are you trying to be friends with a Scientologist by being unfriendly? And are you trying to be friends with a Scientologist? Are you trying to say, hey, Scientologist, be interested in what interests me? Think like I think. Do what I do. Or don't do what you do. Don't think what you think. That's all you got. Is that all you got? Because that's nothing. It's really nothing. Should you desire to change someone's conviction, should you desire to undo someone's beliefs, you most assuredly would have to confront that person's evidence of their belief or conviction. And not only confront it, but also present a counter argument that is convincing. See, this is human communication. Isn't communication like, a big deal in Scientology? So, anti-Scientologists too ought to make communication kind of a big deal. You do just guitar, or you sing?
Well, I'll do, a little bit of singing.
So what songs do you play?
This one's that. I'll find the next stop.
Get off, get off, I kill you.
Get up, get up, get up. Get up. Get up, bitch. Get up, get up. Get off now.
Get your ass off.
Get off now. Get your ass free.
Go to St. Pete. Go to St. Pete.
Let's go.
Go. Come on, you come here. Come here. You come here. You the first. You got no right. No. No, get off the bus. Get off the bus.
You're fucked up,
Get off the
dude.
bus. Get off the bus.
Fucked up, dude. You're
It's
fucked
west
up.
side, nigga.
He's on drugs. He's on drugs. He's on drugs.
Yeah, bring your bitch ass.
My name tag because the cops wanted me to introduce myself to everybody who mostly didn't know me, and then after they got my name, they were like even more rude. It was super rude.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Never have I gone so many days without finding a library, without locating the library. Never have gone so many days without locating the library, except for the one occasion Mexico! Mexico. So there are a lot of other little adventures in between, but I'm going to skip to the highlight adventure. And then maybe a denouement. Maybe just not even many more adventures to count, because this one's a doozy. It's enough. It's enough. So sit down. I do my show. Little did I expect, zero did I expect any audience participation to go as far as to call 911 services. And what do we have show up? Witnessed by others, not myself exactly, but as recorded by others. 4 cop cars, and I'm estimating maybe there were 8 or so cops occupying these cars. Also, paramedics repped by the fire department, also in possession of a stretcher ready to be deployed. Talk about an adventure. I mean, performance art is the way to be if you want adventure. It's not like my career, people, but I can't help it if God blessed me with this talent. And I'm talented. There you go. There's proof. What if you're a Scientologist whose family was Catholic or Baptist or whatever Christianity denomination, Like, culturally, they were Christian. And so you called yourself Christian because that was your cultural inheritance. And then you become a Scientologist, especially, like, if you turn 18, and then that's when you decide to become a Scientologist. Okay, well, at first you're allowed to say you're a Christian and a Scientologist. But you know what? At some point, you're definitely just Scientologist. But you still call it church if you need to say church to somebody who is not a Scientologist. The wording is different for people who are Scientologists or not Scientologists. So, what if in your mind you're like, hey, culturally, I mean, you don't use those thoughts culturally, but culturally I'm Christian. But, like, I never knew anything about it. I didn't, like, wasn't, like, I didn't learn about it in a way to understand it and believe it in a way to, like, do it. Because believing is doing, okay? In all belief. It is not belief if you are not doing. Okay. So, what if Scientology is like the reason you can be both at first is because later you discover like how powerful Scientology is, and like then you're meeting Jesus, because that's if you came from Christianity, because you can't even access Jesus, and I mean you can but not really, you don't get all that power. And what if this is the way to unlock that power? It's like Jesus mysticism. But then you have to stop talking about Christianity, because if you can't focus on the Scientology, then it won't work, right? Because that's why it works, because you focus on it. Hey, tell me about your church and I'll tell you about mine. I'll go first. Are you happy? Are you perfectly happy? That's called bliss. So if that's bliss, if perfect happiness is called bliss, then why are we supposed to avoid the between lives implant stations? Bliss. Why are we supposed to avoid bliss? Why are we supposed to avoid perfect happiness? Explain that to me. What if your church is better than my church because you're dressed better than I am? Here's a biggie, anti-Scientologist. Here is a biggie. Each Scientologist with whom I had words, pleasant words, okay? Each one had an accent that indicated English was not that person's native language, though we were in an English-speaking environment. Therefore, anti-Scientologists, perhaps consider your message in languages that strike a chord with these people you're trying to reach. Are you fluent in Spanish? I am. Can you get by in French? I can. How about some Eastern European languages? Russian? You know, my girlfriend is going to have to come with me next time because it's a lonely trip. Very lonely trip to Clearwater, Florida, without a friend. Don't count on me for, like, you know, giggles and dancing, because I'm not a friend unless you need one. And I'm your friend when you need one.